focusing on extraordinary ladies from the South African Disability Alliance family. And throughout we are going to have podcasts celebrating our ladies. Today, it is with the greatest pleasure that I introduce Ntsikie Loteni. Ntsikie is from the National Albinism Task Force. Good morning, Ntsikie.
Good morning, Melanie.
Ntsikie, please can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and your disability journey, your personal journey?
Okay, thank you so much. As you have introduced me, my name is Ntsikie Lelo. Most people call me Ntsikie Loteni. I am a person with albinism. For those that might not know what albinism is a genetic condition that is caused by a lack of melanin. It affects our skin, it affects our eyes, and it affects our hair. I'm from a family of six siblings. And the most interesting thing about my family is that three of us are persons with albinism, and three of my siblings don't have albinism at all. And that both our parents don't have albinism. When we asked them, they could not trace it in the family. I grew up in Grahamstown, which is now known as Makanda. Grew up in a farm outside Grahamstown. What is important is that it was a small community and nobody knew about our condition. Nothing that was said about albinism in that community. So really, we knew little and nothing about our condition ourselves, and including my parents were really not aware about our condition. But really, we could obviously see that we were struggling with our eyesight. We could not see properly. We were very sensitive to the sun. Those were the only things at the time that we could really realize about ourselves, and that we look different from other people in that small community. I then moved to a village called Pedi. That's where I did my high school. And things started to change when I get into that village. Now everybody, like, you could hear people calling you names that you have never heard, people talking about you, talking about your condition behind your back, all the nasty things people believed about albinism. I started to hear them when I moved into that village, and it was really hurting. Schooling was hard, because of the eyesight. Now I could really struggle. But you know what? I soldiered on. I finished my matric. Even though it was hard, I managed to get to university, got my degree, I got my honors, and I really didn't struggle after finishing my degree in terms of getting employment. I was employed immediately by the National Treasury as an intern. And then that's when I moved to Joburg. And then I started not immediately when I moved to Joburg, but after some years, that's when I got myself involved with the organizations of persons with albinism, and I learned more about the condition. So in a nutshell, that's how my journey has been. There's a lot in between that happened really. The things that most people with albinism would experience, I also experienced them. So that's in a nutshell my journey.
Okay. So you talk about, school, high school especially, that was very difficult for you. I'm sure you were the victim of bullying. And
Definitely.
also, I mean, I think also because people don't really know anything, so they are fearful, but that's because of a lack of knowledge.
Yes.
How did your family and your community support you? Or did you feel very alone in this journey?
Sure. Growing up in that small community, my family, I have two loving parents. They love at home. the support at home, even though my parents did not know anything about the condition. I can tell you now, not once have I heard my parents saying anything negative about us or regretting that they've given birth to us being so different. Not
Yeah.
once. My parents loved us so, so, so
That's
much.
amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
and also getting the support. I mean, now getting the support from friends, you know, having friends that understands you, that are there for you. So that's the kind of support that I have, and it means a lot. I think
Mm,
any person needs that kind of support when you go through this rejection in society, this discrimination in society. You need to find a solace somewhere, you know, a place where
absolutely.
you know that you are loved unconditionally. So I
Absolutely.
have been blessed to have that. And I
That's
think that's
amazing.
what keeps me going.
Yes, I
Mm,
absolutely agree with you. And I think
yes.
also because there's a lot of stigma around and misconceptions around albinism. So,
Yes.
and I mean, I'm sure that you must have been fearful also because of all I don't know if people really know, but if you want to touch on it briefly, just to tell about, the threats
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
face daily.
Yeah, it is something real. You always think about it. Even now, I always look behind my back, in terms of where you go. And even it's very difficult to trust people, because we know that some of the tragic things that have happened to people with albinism, in most cases, there is someone that they know that is involved, right? Someone that they know that will sell them either to
Sure.
these perpetrators. Let me
Yeah.
just put it in that way.
Yeah.
So you're always very careful, in terms of where you go, who you go with, and how you get there. You know, you really don't open up to any stranger that easily, because you
Mm,
don't know their motive. You
mm,
know, what is it that they have seen, that they might be targeting you? What is it that they know, right? That they might not be telling you, but they have identified you as a target. So it's really it's that life. It doesn't go away.
yeah.
It's just something that we have to live with.
Yes. Tiki, and I think especially for women. I mean, it's Women's
Oh,
Month, and we must talk about what women with albinism face. This
yes,
misconception about sex and HIV.
yes.
I think that can you please just share a little bit of information
Yeah,
around that?
yeah. Women and girls with albinism, you know, there is that extra risk that they are in because of this belief that people believe that sleeping with a person with albinism will cure HIV and AIDS. And this belief that we produce these powers that will give people luck. As a result, they put us in that danger. You get approached by people that they behave as if they love you, but they know that
Mm,
they are approaching you with a motive. I mean, that was the case, in that was the scenario in the case of Tandazile, the lady that was killed in Kwamhlabeyalinga. You
sh-
know, it was the boyfriend that was
Sure,
involved. You know, it was the boyfriend that was part of this whole syndicate with the Sangomas and all of that.
sure.
So we are always at that risk as women with albinism. We are human beings. We want to be loved. You know, we will fall in love with somebody, you know. So it's
Yeah.
always has that risk to say, does this person really loves you? You know, and you might not know it at the first instant, whether this person is here for a motive or not. So that's
Mm,
the risk that we always take by getting involved. And of which we should get involved, because we also have feelings and all of that. We want to be loved, we want to belong. But we know that it comes with that particular risk.
Yeah, sure.
Mm.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Um, Ntsikie, as a woman with a disability, have you ever felt that you had to work harder to be seen or heard or taken seriously?
Mm.
And especially, in work context, what would you
Mm.
like society and employers especially to understand?
Mm. Mm.
Message that you
Mm.
can give to employers.
Yeah. I think what is important for me to share, it's always there that employers think that employing a person with disability is kind of like you are dropping a standard. You are not employing a competent person, right? It's like you are there because they needed a statistics. In most
Exactly.
cases, not
Yeah.
all employers are like
Mm.
that. And that's really a shameful thing, because persons with disabilities, persons with albinism included, we all work so hard to be where we are. We have the qualifications, we are experienced in the work that we do, we are competent. But it
Yeah.
is true, Melanie, that you always have to prove yourself beyond what other people are doing, because there is always this doubt about you. Can
Mm.
she do the work? Is she capable of doing it? So I'm also faced with those kinds of perceptions from people, to say, we don't really think that she can handle the space. Is she competent enough? So I always have to work harder, to prove myself,
Yeah, I
because of
think
those
that's true.
perceptions that people
Yes,
put
I've also
on
experienced that.
disability. Mm.
Yes, yes. Well, you have done so well, Ntsiki. What is the thing, your achievement that you're most proud of?
When I had to represent the sector at the Equality Court in 2020, 23, 24, when
Yeah,
we had a case against one of the traditional healers, being there, knowing that I'm carrying thousands of persons with albinism to make our case heard, to put a stop on people thinking that they can talk anyhow about us, they can create content about us, saying all these dehumanizing things and get away with it. So when I was there, for me, that moment was really a proud moment, to say it will go down as history, that we stood up for ourselves. We
absolutely.
really went there without any lawyers, without any legal background, but we were determined to prove that enough is enough about discriminating persons with albinism, thinking that you can say anything about persons with albinism and there is no accountability for it. So that was the proudest moment of my life. And I have represented the sector in other platforms as well. For me to know that I'm a voice to that person who will never have that opportunity to speak for themselves. So when I get into the room, I know that I might have not myself gone through that experience, but I know somebody that has
Yeah,
gone through that experience and will not have the opportunity to say it. So therefore, I
mhm,
need to take that responsibility and make sure that I represent them well. So those are
yeah,
the moments for me that are really I'm proud of. And maybe lastly, to show that persons with disabilities, persons with albinism, we are capable of doing anything. We qualify for these spaces that we occupy. So for me, education is always very crucial, and I'm in that space where I always want to demonstrate, to say there are doors that will open for us when we take up and we really push hard. against all these barriers, against all these things that are working against us, in making sure that we get into those spaces and we represent ourselves well. I'm always very amazed with that. And I take that opportunity and use it very well.
Yes, yes. Talking about education, I want to go back to your childhood. Was there ever a time where you struggled with acceptance?
Yeah, I do not know. We'll say it was a question of ignorance around them, or lack of knowledge, and obviously, like I said, when I moved to do my high school in that village, it was really hard. It was really hard. People made a point that you are different. Obviously, you are different to the whole community, because I never saw anyone like me. I was the only one there. So for them to really accept me as a person, and really respect me as a person, I find that I will give them a benefit of a doubt to say it was the lack of knowledge.
And I think
Yeah.
I think it's also important to, that's why inclusive education is so important, because children needs to be exposed to all kinds of people with all kinds of disabilities from a very young age. Because, I mean, if we can do that, we can change society within one generation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ntsikie, it's so lovely speaking to you. I really enjoy it. But I want to ask you if you had a message to share with young girls with disabilities who may be struggling to recognize their potential and to find their place in the world, what would that message be?
Sure. Yeah. There is so much, I will tell them to say, you know what? Never second guess yourself. You are good enough. Never allow anyone to limit you by giving you an identity that is not yours. Believe that person that is within you, that you are the only one know about, to say, I can do this. Believe in that. Never give up. Even though you will meet challenges, disappointments in life, never give up. We all keep going. The world is for you to really conquer. So that's the message that I will really give to them, to say, believe in yourself.
What a beautiful message it is. Ntsikie, thank you so much for spending some time with me this morning and sharing your journey and your wisdom. I thank you so much. And I hope that everybody will tune in for our next podcast. And we are doing 2 podcasts per week. Thank you so much and enjoy your day.
Thank you for having me. It was nice to be here. Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you, Ntsikie.